if you're a modern woman like me, you really need to be cuddled by your current hottie all night. I personally can't get enough of the spoon position. Unfortunately, I've yet to meet a man who will cuddle me for more than the few obligatory minutes and then he's done. So what do? Well, tonight, I'm going to show you how you can get all the spooning your heart desires. Now, what does a man like to hold on to more than anything in the world? Well, okay, apart from that, what does a man like to hold on to more than anything in the world? A beer in a stubby holder. As we've all observed, a man will hold on to one of these for days. So it's simple logic then that what you need to wear to bed is a stubby holder. It seems that since the beginning of time, men have always had trouble finding the Grafenberg spot, or the elusive G-spot. It's been so elusive that even some medical men have claimed it was something us modern women made up to maintain our mystery. Well, tonight, girls, I'm going to show you a way to guide even the most uncoordinated man right to where it feels good. Now, a woman's G-spot is located approximately 2 to 3 inches inside the vaginal canal on the anterior or front wall of the vagina. It varies for every individual woman. Now, seeing as a man can't seem to tell when he's found it, it's up to us to let him know in a layman's language that males understand. Work out for yourself where your G-spot is. Then, on a condom like this one, mark from the tip of the condom A, B, C, D, E, F, G, making sure the G is where your G-spot is. Then as he enters you and gets up to G, he knows that his tip is on your G-spot, and that's where he should fully focus friction. And remember, you can also mark letters past G all the way to, say, Q. And finally, simply roll it back up and you're ready to go. And there you have it, ladies. You've made finding the G-spot as easy as ABC.
The what? The Grafenberg?
Usually the boy know very well more than me. The boy know better than me.
Pass. Where's that?
What the fuck's a Grafenberg?
The G-spot, Mum.
Oh, that's the G-spot. I don't know. What is that?
I don't know, somewhere inside her.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, Mum has no idea and I'm not going to.
I didn't know what that one was.
These days, we all know it's politically incorrect for children to play games like cowboys and Indians, especially considering this is actually a little cowgirl. And not only that, but these children are playing a game that's recreating the genocide of Native Americans. Excuse me for speaking out, but Australia is already overwhelmed by American culture. So, if you're a mom and you're organising a children's party where the kids want to play dress-ups, then why not celebrate our proud Australian heritage and play colonial boys and Indigenes? The first thing you need to do is couture the colonial boys' outfits. Patterns are available in books like this one of children's fancy dress costumes. They're easy to make, so enjoy taking the time to get it right and you'll be rewarded many times over. You'll also find a pattern for their hat, which is simply made from an ice cream container. Then, with some white pants and black socks and shoes, the little darlings will be ready to defend the land. Now for the Indigenes. Once the children have chosen who'll play the baddies, it's time for some face painting. Remember to use an acrylic paint that washes off easily. It'd be awful if your children looked like this permanently. Don't they look adorable? As you can see, you don't need to worry about patterns or sewing for these outfits. Just grabbing anything that's lying around will achieve the authentic attire. And to finish the ensemble, I asked Todd to whip up these adorable timber guns. Aren't they darling? And as we all know, little boys love playing with sticks, so you're best to let the Indigenes fend for themselves. Off you go. Have a nice time. Bang! So there you go, parents. An Aussie game your Aussie kids will love while they learn.
My turn.
Timmy, give that gun back to Caleb. You know you should only have that stick.
Bang!
Kids. So, you've finally found your Mr. Right. His looks are sublime, his family's pure pedigree, he's got a magnificent house in a marvellous suburb, and he's a master in the boardroom. Unfortunately, there's one room in the house where he's not the master. But if you want to keep him and his quality real estate portfolio, then perhaps it's time to start faking it. Once you've decided to simulate an orgasm, the first step is deciding how. You want your faking to sound as real as possible, because if perchance he manages to improve his technique, you don't want to have to explain the difference between the counterfeit and the genuine article. So, I recommend getting in someone who's accomplished the task before and taping yourself in the throes of ecstasy. This is Gregor, not usually my type, but one night after too much moe, I found he really is quite a capable young man. Tradesmen are so good with the hands. You remember Gregor? Oh, no, yeah, that's it. Nice job, Gregor. Don't be a stranger. Now, like learning any foreign language, all you have to do is listen to the tape and then read along with it. Oh, Gregor! Oh. Yes! Now, just practice this multiple times and you'll achieve the right fulfilling fornication phonetics. Once you're completely satisfied with your rehearsals, you're ready for an opening night performance that will turn Mr. Right into Mr. Right Away without bruising his fragile ego. Oh, yeah.
I'd rather just keep trying until it happened, and if it wasn't going to happen, I'd rather say it's not going to happen.
I don't think she's ever faked it. I think it's always been real.
I think all my girlfriends have faked an orgasm.
I did, and it involved a very long session and spitting on somebody's back. I just couldn't be bothered anymore, you know? What do? You know, it was just too long. It was not going anywhere, so it's just a matter of flipping over and making the noise and then spitting on her back. What can I say?
Ladies, for the modern woman, one of the only good things about getting a little bit older is that buying gifts gets much simpler, as long as you know a few of the basic principles. Everyone knows it's a thought that counts, which is a polite way of saying the person that receives the gift has to be gracious about accepting it, even if they don't really want it. Now, one of the best gifts to give is a book, but good books can be so expensive, unless you know where to shop. As you can see, libraries have stacks of books. Go to the literature section. Most of these are in mint condition because, well, nobody really wants to read them. And that makes them the ideal gift. And the best thing is, they're free. The new John Irving. 750 pages and turgid. Ideal. Don't be silly, it's not stealing, it's borrowing. And that's what libraries are there for. Don't forget to keep the library barcode that you peeled off in a safe place. You'll need it again. And here's a little something for your birthday. Ooh, doesn't feel little.
Oh, it's
So great to see Irving's back, isn't it? A lot of people felt that he never recovered his form after Garb, but I heard this one is nearly as good as A Widow for 1 year. I wanted to buy it for myself, but I just couldn't justify the cost. You know how ridiculous hardback prices are these days. But maybe I could borrow yours when you're finished with it.
Oh, look, I'm still finishing my Julie Cooper, so why don't you read it first and I'll get it back from you?
Oh, if you're sure.
I'm sure. Thank you for the beautiful present. You shouldn't have gone to so much expense.
Oh, you're so welcome. Mwah, mwah. Okay, it's safe to say she won't be asking for this again. So, it's back to the library for Mr. Irving. That's one expensive birthday gift for the price of the wrapping paper. And I can look forward to a reciprocal gift. Very expensive. After all, it's the thought that counts. Something we modern women don't like to talk about is that time of the month. And something we like talking about even less is having sex during that time of the month. But did you know that one of the best things you can do to relieve period pain and stress is have sex? That's right. Having sex can make you feel much better. But of course there's the problem of the mess. So today, I'm going to show you how to deal with that in style. In recent years, Asian style has become very, very popular. There's something about the clean, sleek lines and elegant simplicity that appeals to today's minimalist trends. The Asian style folding screens lend a serene sense of beauty. Very sexy. These bedside tables are simple yet strong in their impact. The futon-style bed is clean yet striking. The low height creates a feeling of space in the room. And of course, our Japanese flag bedspread. White with a red circle in the middle. The elegant white made passionate with the splash of red. And quite simply, the perfect bedspread for sex during that time of the month. All you have to remember is to position yourself carefully. So girls, don't let that time of the month stop you from having what you want. Just go Japanese and let the rising sun provide you with the perfect place to make love. Oh no, this is so awkward. See that girl who just walked in? I went to university with her. I think I borrowed her diaphragm once. Anyway, I can't for the life of me remember what her name is. Don't you just hate these difficult situations? I'll never get away with pretending I don't know her. And she'll be offended if she thinks I can't remember who she is. Fortunately, I know a third way that's guaranteed to avoid awkward situations. All you have to do is use a general form of address. Watch. Sigourney! You bitch! See? No need for awkward, embarrassing reintroductions. And whilst I may have temporarily bruised her face, at least I didn't permanently bruise her ego by letting on I didn't have a clue what her name was. Crisis averted. These days, modern women don't just want to be a wife to their husband, they want to be his best friend too. And it's a good tactic. If you're his best friend, then he'll want to stay home with you instead of hanging out with his friend Beer at the local pub. So today, I'm going to show you how it's done. Simply model your behaviour on a dog. After all, dogs have been man's best friend for over 5,000 years, so they must be doing something right. Which is why it's important for every modern woman to learn a few easy techniques to keep her man happy by adopting the behaviour of a faithful canine. For a start, the first thing you'll notice about dogs is they don't talk. They bark occasionally, but can be trained to shut up on command. Men really like this, so try it at home. Dogs always rush to the door and lick their master whenever he comes home. It makes a man forget about his bad day at work and feel appreciated. So why not give it a go next time your man opens the front door?
Hey Max, sit, sit. Yeah, good dog.
Obedience. It really turns men on. Dogs will sit, lie down and play dead upon instruction. Your man will love it if you do this in the bedroom. Now, isn't this a touching domestic scene? Dogs will lie at their master's feet for hours at a time, waiting until he wants to do something, never once complaining that he hogs the remote control. And that's all there is to it. If you want to be your man's best friend, then model your behaviour on every man's best friend, the dog. After all, dogs have been getting men to love them unconditionally for thousands of years, and they smell and have a lot of body hair, so it can't be too hard. Even for feminists.
Well, coming from our cultural background, I think
you'd have to be obedient.
Yeah.
Only because they think that they're the man, and you'd have to follow by their rules, sort of, but I wouldn't. I stick up for myself, exactly.
You know, you want to know your partner and her feelings and whatever. But once you get married and you know she's there as your wife, I think her talking gets a little too much for you.
You know her responsibility in the house. That's the type of man I'm looking for.
Actually, it's not a matter of obedience or a matter of slavery. It's a matter of understanding, you know.
See, their view of women is to cook and clean and stay home. But in my case, if they don't work, they're useless bastards. If you get what I mean.
An ancient problem for the modern woman is, how do you get your house guests to leave after you've had enough of them? The problem with most guest rooms like this is they're far too warm and inviting. So the solution is simple. Redecorating. To start with, repaint the walls, remembering to use cool colours like this duck egg green. Then furnish the room with a stainless steel bed, hang some appropriate prints, then attach a small television to a bracket on the wall and tune the set so it has a truly terrible picture. Finally, and most importantly, make sure the room is heavily scented. Disinfectant. With a few simple modifications, your guest room now resembles the kind of room that nobody wants to stay in for too long. So there you have it. If you don't want your lodgers to linger longer, then decorate with hospital decor and they'll discharge themselves before time, every time. As a modern woman, it's important to know what turns a man on if you're thinking of making him a longer-term project. Well, I'm going to show you a little trick that'll let you in on your new man's sexual fantasies without you having to ask him. All you need is one of these erotic videos. Something with a variety of performances. Guys and girls, girls and girls, girls and guns, leather, plastic, rubber. Just as long as it has a variety of options. Now, the trick is to leave it somewhere where it may seem like you're trying to hide it, but you know he'll find it. It shouldn't be too hard. Men have an instinct for finding pornography. Then make an excuse to leave the house, like lunch or shopping with the girls. Bye, darling. I'll be back after lunch. Now, being new to the relationship, your man will want to look around a bit to try and find out more about how you think and what you're into. That's when he will get the pleasant surprise of finding an erotic video. Then, next time you're alone, get the video from its hiding place and put it on. Men are always too lazy to rewind, so wherever the video is stopped is where he's climaxed. You can now tell exactly what it takes to keep him coming back for more. And that's all there is to it. XXX marks the spot. It's the easy way of finding out without the awkwardness of asking him. Oh, Jean-Paul, you naughty boy.
You know that I watch?
No.
I don't know what men think, but when he's around me, I don't think he does watch it. And pornography to be watched, to seen on the internet, he doesn't have access to internet, so...
It's a turn off for them, you know? Think, oh, yuck, you know, is that all you guys get up to?
There's the normal ones. He's got a few of those, you know, little X-rated videos, but he's more of a magazine kind of guy.
I've recently turfed probably about 24 Penthouse magazines that I've probably had for about 6 or 7 years. Not really that interested.
Now that the SARS epidemic is over, Asian culture is back and it's hipper than ever. If you're like me, you love Asian food, films and fashion, and enjoyed reading memoirs of a geisha, or at least own it. But there is one ultimate Asian fashion accessory you may not yet have: an Asian friend. Asian friends are great. They can open a world of new cultural experiences for you. Also, they're generally petite like you, so they won't get as angry as your fat Western friends when you can fit into small sizes. There is, however, one problem. Eileen, you'll never guess what happened to Bruno last night.
Sigourney, over here!
Finding your Asian friend in a crowd of other Asians is nearly impossible. But don't fret, there is a solution. Just make your little Far Eastern buddy one of these. You can make your neck piece in any colour. Just make sure it's bright so you can find your friend in a crowd. I've also fitted mine with some bells so I can find my little crouching tiger if we get separated in the streets of Chinatown.
Jeez, thanks, Sigourney.
Oh, Ling, you're so welcome. Hey, you want to go get some yum choy?
It's yum cha.
Oh, whatever, as long as it's yummy. Isn't she cute?
That's what I used to think, but I went to Korea, opened a restaurant in Korea, and you can actually distinguish them. Like the eye features, you can actually tell the difference. From a Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, you can. In Australia, you tend to think they all look the same, but no. When you go over there, into those various countries, they all look different.
God, funerals are awful. Everyone's always so miserable. And the catering's never as good as at weddings. But the worst thing about funerals is having to do the eulogy. If you're actually sad about the person who died, then the last thing you want to do is get up and do the Toastmasters bit. Besides, I don't want to write a speech. It's too much like doing homework. So today, I'm going to show you the easiest way to knock out a eulogy every time. All you need is a big wad of paper. You don't have to write anything on it, but the bigger the wad, the more it looks like you went to a lot of trouble to write your speech.
Sigourney will now say a few words about Heidi.
Heidi was... She was a great... Heidi was... I'm sorry. I don't think I can do this.
And that's all there is to it. Everyone will have enjoyed that eulogy. They'll be impressed by how much I care, and they'll be grateful they didn't have to listen to a long and boring speech. With any luck, I'll find a strong man's shoulder to comfort me in my grief at the wake. Here we go. So next time you need to deliver a eulogy, make it easy on yourself and keep it short, really short. A few crocodile tears is much more impressive than a long oration anyway. Whew. This cardio boxing is a fabulous all-body workout. It helps me stay trim. And after a rigorous session, I feel ready to take on the world. It's just a shame that most modern men aren't as willing to take on an exercise regime as us modern women. Sadly, it's an increasingly common problem for gorgeous, taut-bodied women to find themselves in relationships with flabby, unfit men. It's just not good enough. Of course, if he's a real fatty boomba, then no amount of nagging will get him to a cardio boxing class. So, if you want your love mate to have a body like Anthony Mundine, then it's up to you to get him swinging a few punches around the home. All you have to do is provide the incentive. I've been sleeping with your best friend, Mark. Mark has a much bigger penis than you. Punches improve his upper body strength and raise his heart rate for a full cardiovascular workout. And you can get him to work on his legs by making him chase you around a bit. And finally, after you've taken him through a good workout, don't forget to take him through a few stretches. The most effective way to do this is by regular make-up sex. It doesn't lead to too many nasty strain injuries. Come in, Carlo. And there you have it. If you can get your man to spar with you at least 3 times a week, he'll be looking trimmer and feeling fitter in just a few short months, which has got to be good for the long-term prospects of your relationship. Don't you hate that, girls? Must be instinct or something primal in a man that makes him feel like he has to hog the doona every time, even with a large one like this. Well, today, I'm going to show you how you can decorate your doona in a way that will ensure that your man never takes more than his half ever again. There's one thing a man will not touch even if his life depended on it. Sanitary products. I don't know what it is, but men will avoid these like the plague. Nowadays, they come in an array of different shapes and sizes. Wings, ultra heavy duty, ultra thins. There's so many to choose from. What we're going to do is use these different shapes and sizes to decorate your half of the doona. I've simply sewed these on in a number of pretty patterns to create a beautiful design over my half of the doona. See how I've gone right up to the centre line and made it very obvious where the middle is? This is really important. So, let's see if it works. See? Works like a charm. Nighty-night. There's nothing worse while perusing the news of the day than reading about the tragic death of yet another young Australian. But even more disturbing can be the accompanying photo of the recently deceased. 19-year-old Gary here was killed instantly when the car he was driving hit a tree. And the best picture his parents could give to the media was this goofy photograph that looks so out of focus, looks more like a photo after the impact than before. This is so undignified and unnecessary. And ladies, you don't want to look as bad as these parents do and get caught out as someone so unsentimental you have no decent photos of your children. That's why every modern woman should take the time to ensure that her happy memories are publisher-proof. Now, most people will go for a quick family portrait taken by a supposedly professional photographer. But I find this option fairly impersonal and actually quite tacky. What it says to people is we had to make a special effort to have this picture taken because we have no family occasions worth photographing. Not the impression you want to give at all. Of course, most modern mothers will have a collection of school snaps to choose from, but these are so formal. And if you can't afford to send your child to a private school, well, you don't want people to have third world attitudes to the death of your child. You want them to feel that their passing counts. So it's best to design a series of medium memory-worthy snaps yourself. Simply gather the children together once a year and take a series of appropriate images. Ones that would be suitable to accompany the tragedy of a backyard pool drowning, to the senselessness of being the victim of yet another hit and run. And don't be afraid to accessorise with adorable touches like these fairy wings. Personalising your pictures is the key. And that's all there is to it. With a little pre-planning, you can rest in peace of mind that if tragedy does strike any of the members of your family, and the media is after a memory, you've avoided the misfortune of seeming unsentimental.